If you've never met a woman who behaves as if she was born inside a photo filter, then you are about to meet one now by name Kate Ediale. She was 29 years old, single, working in Abuja as an HR officer and living a life that looked soft on Instagram but hard inside her account balance. Every Monday morning, she would post motivational quotes like "My week must obey me" and "Soft life is my birthright." But in real life, she was shouting at her mirror because her makeup sponge had gone missing again. Kate was beautiful, tall and dramatic in the way Nigerian women who lived in Abuja can be. Her room was a museum of wigs, perfumes and clothes she bought on credit. She loved saying things like a woman must maintain packaging, even if her account was crying. Her mother, Mama Kate, used to tell her on the phone, "My daughter, stop competing with people that are using their father's money. Remember, you are using your destiny." But Kate would laugh and say, "Mommy, you don't understand this generation, no. Image is everything." Her daily routine was full of drama. She would wake up at 5:30 a.m., pray loudly for prosperity, and then complain that God was answering other people's prayers faster. After that, she would spend 1 hour choosing what to wear because, as she always said, you never know who will see you today. Your destiny helper might be at the bus stop. Then she would spray half a bottle of perfume, snap mirror selfies, and add captions like "Ready to conquer the week," even though her light bill had just come. Kate's best friend and roommate Sandra had already given up trying to advise her. That morning, as Kate stood in front of the mirror applying her third layer of foundation, Sandra sighed and said, "Kate, you know your salary is not up to your perfume." Kate laughed. "Babe, stop now. Don't limit me. I serve a living God." Sandra rolled her eyes. "Yes, but even God will tell you to budget." Kate waved her hand. "Budget is for people without vision. My own vision is clear. Soft life or nothing." When she got to work, her co-workers knew she had arrived before she even entered the office because her perfume used to announce her like the sound of offering bell in church. She would walk in, swinging her hips and pretending to be on an important call. "Yes, tell the driver to wait. I'll be done soon," she would say, even though the only person waiting for her was the office cleaner who needed her to move her chair. One of her colleagues secretly liked her, and he would always watch her with amusement. His name was Laddie, and ironically, he was the type who wore the same brown shoes every week, but somehow always looked clean. That morning, as Kate entered the office carrying her designer bag that looked expensive, Laddie smiled and said, "Good morning, Kate. How is life in paradise?" Kate tossed her head dramatically. "Paradise is stressful, Laddie. Too many angels owe me money." Laddie laughed. "You are not serious, Kate. I hope your landlord hasn't called this week." Kate frowned playfully. "Why are you always attacking me? I am a responsible tenant." Laddie grinned. "That is not what your generator said last night when it refused to start." Kate gasped. "Wait, you know about it?" Laddie nodded. "Yes, I happened to hear your phone conversation just now as I was minding my business." Everyone in the office burst into laughter. Case hissed but laughed too. "Leave me, Jare. Even machines need motivation sometimes now." That evening, she got ready to attend a friend's birthday party at one fancy restaurant in Wuse. Of course, she had already told Sandra, "Babe, this dinner must see pepper. I'll slay till the chairs confess." But she had a small problem. She had only 4,500 naira left in her account. Sandra asked, "So, how will you pay for your food in case the need arises?" Kate smiled proudly. "Don't worry, one of those fine boys will pay for me. I am God's favorite child." So, she borrowed Sandra's bag, used her last perfume, and convinced her neighbor to drop her at the restaurant so she could arrive like a boss. Inside the restaurant, she greeted everyone loudly. see my people, you didn't tell me the light here is this fine. Oh, she sat down at the front, took 10 selfies, adjusted her dress every 5 minutes, and made sure the waiter knew she was the prettiest person in the building. When it was time to order food, she looked at the menu and almost fainted. 17,500 naira for small fish? Is it swimming in gold? She whispered. The waiter smiled politely. Ma, it's grilled salmon. Kate smiled back. Okay, just bring one small portion for picture's sake. After the meal, when the waiter brought the bill, everyone started checking their nails or pretending to scroll their phones. Kate whispered to the birthday girl, so who is paying? And the girl said, everyone is splitting the bill. Kate's heart left her body immediately. She quickly pretended to be on a call. Yes, Daddy, I'm coming. She stood up like someone going to the restroom, but her bag betrayed her. It slipped and fell open, exposing a receipt from Odogu loan app. The table went silent for 2 seconds before someone laughed. Kate, you are using loan apps? Kate forced a fake laughter. It's an old receipt, Jare. However, after that night, she swore she would redeem her image by doing another photo shoot the next weekend to show the world that she was still fine and unbothered. She captioned the pictures "Unshakable Queen Energy." Meanwhile, her landlord was waiting at home with his own caption, "Pay your rent or pack out." The next morning, after the pictures went live, as she was rushing to work, her mother called. "My daughter, I saw your pictures online. You look like you swallowed Dubai." Kate laughed. "Mommy, we are trying small." Her mother shook her head. "Kate, my daughter, try and pay your rent before you post the next picture. Don't go and be fine outside and homeless inside." Kate giggled. "Mommy, you worry too much. Don't worry now." Her mother sighed. "One day, this your social media life will humble you." Kate smiled confidently. "Mommy, it can never be me. I am the one humbling social media." And that was how the Queen of Pepperdam continued, because in Kate's dictionary, life was not about having money. It was about looking like you had it successfully. Unfortunately, by the second week of the month, before 15th, Kate's account balance had started sounding like silence. You know that stage when you open your banking app and even the app is tired of you? That was where she was. Every morning, she would still dress up like the daughter of Dangote's cousin. Even though her power bank was dead, her light bill was still unpaid, and her gas finished 2 days ago. Sandra, her roommate, was officially tired. That morning, she found Kate using her body spray again. "Kate, how many times have I told you to stop using my perfume?" Kate blinked innocently. "Sandra, love is about sharing. No, you can't hoard fragrance now." Sandra snapped. "I am not hoarding fragrance. I am hoarding my budget. Don't create unnecessary expenses for me now." Kate laughed. "You are just stingy. Don't worry. When God blesses me, I will buy you a whole perfume shop." Sandra folded her arms. "But before that blessing, can you at least pay your part of the NEPA bill?" Kate waved her hand like a pastor casting out demons. "Sandra, don't let bills kill your vibe. The God that paid last month's own, he will pay this month's own again." Sandra rolled her eyes. "Last month, I was the God who paid your NEPA bill." At work, things were not even better. The gossip circle in the office, led by one girl called Ngozi, had started gossiping about Kate's packaging. One afternoon, Ngozi said loudly, "Some people will use loan app to buy wig, and then they will still act like CEO." Kate looked up from her desk and smiled sweetly. "Ngozi, if you have something to say, just say it with your full chest." Ngozi smirked. "I am not talking to you." Kate smiled wider. "Good, because I only reply to people on my level." The entire office burst into sounds like spectators in a boxing ring. Laddie, who sat 2 desks away, shook his head. "Kate, you like violence too much." Kate smiled. "Why not? Peace is boring." Laddie leaned forward. "Peace Peace is also cheap, remember, Kate hissed. You and this your poverty gospel every time. Abeg leave me jare. At lunch break, Kate opened her food flask, which contained plain rice and stew without meat. Laddie looked at it and teased, Madam Pepper them, where is the protein? Kate sighed dramatically. See, my doctor advised me to avoid meat for now. It causes stress to my body. Laddie grinned. Or maybe it causes debit alerts. Kate glared at him. See, one day you will become rich and then this your poverty mentality will change. Laddie nodded. Yes, if I become rich, I will also buy you a calculator so you can count your debts properly. Later that week, Kate received a text from her landlord. Your rent grace period is over. Kindly pay up before Friday. She nearly fainted. She quickly called Sandra. Sandra, please remind me to start fasting tomorrow. Sandra asked, for what? Kate said dramatically, for divine rent intervention. Sandra sighed. Well, I already sent my own part of the rent, so I suggest you do that fasting alone. Don't involve me. Kate's mother called her that evening. Kate, have you paid your rent? Kate laughed. Mommy, I am working on it. Don't worry. Her mother said sharply. Kate, work faster. Oh. You are living in Abuja, not heaven. Landlords don't take prayer as currency. Kate dropped the phone and hissed. Everybody thinks I am lazy. They don't just understand my struggle. To release her stress, she went out that weekend with her friends to a new lounge called the Gold Spoon. The drinks there were high priced like inheritance. When she saw the menu, she smiled through the pain and sighed, Father Lord, give me grace to look rich even when I am broke. At the end of the night, she was forced to pay for a drink she didn't even order because one of her friends said, let's split the bill equally. Kate almost cried as she transferred her last 4,000 naira. Her bank app asked, are you sure? She whispered, no, I am not, but let's just die in elegance. By the next morning, Kate was officially broke. She couldn't even buy gala on her way to work. She told herself, it's fine, salary will soon be here. I will start afresh next month. But deep down, she knew she needed an urgent miracle. Unfortunately, just when she thought things couldn't get worse, her boss walked into the office and said, ladies and gentlemen, there is a slight issue. Salary will be delayed for 2 weeks. The whole office screamed while Kate just froze like a mannequin. 2 weeks delay might not sound like a big deal to normal people, but to Kate, it was a national emergency. Now, when her account balance was already in coma, she stared at her boss as if he had just announced famine. When the boss left, she turned to Sandra, who also worked in the same company, and whispered, Sandra, did you hear that? Sandra said, yes, that is your cue to start learning fasting officially. Kate gasped, Sandra, don't play, please, my life is finished. Sandra patted her shoulder. You survive. Just reduce the way you shout soft life every morning. Kate sighed deeply. I can't. It's already part of my brand. That week, everything around her crashed except for the loan apps on her phone, which were already sending her reminders. On Wednesday morning, as she was getting dressed for work, she saw a notification on her phone. Dear Kate Ediali, remember to pay your 15,000 naira loan before 12 p.m. to avoid embarrassment. But she ignored it and continued doing her makeup. 2 hours later, during a staff meeting, her phone started ringing loudly. She forgot to silence it, and the ID caller displayed Odogu loan recovery. Everyone turned to stare at her. The boss frowned. Miss Kate, can you take that call outside? Kate smiled awkwardly. It's not important, sir. However, the phone rang again, and this time it said, final warning, Kate Ediali, we are watching you. The whole office burst into laughter. After the meeting, Ngozi mocked. So this is what happens when packaging meets reality. Kate hissed. At least my debt is fashionable. Laddie laughed from his corner. Kate, you are officially becoming a financial comedian. By evening, Kate sat in her small apartment eating garri with groundnuts and thinking of her life choices. The same girl who once said, I can never drink garri unless it is imported, was now calculating how to ration sugar. She shook her head. God, this wasn't the plan, no. Her mother called again. Kate, I had a dream that someone was chasing you. Kate groaned. Yes, mommy, it must be my landlord. Her mother sighed. Can you see your life? I told you to stop forming fine girl when you are not fine in the spirits. Then, on Friday, the final blow came. The company accountant announced that even the delayed salary had been reduced because of budget cuts. Kate literally cried. She went to meet Sandra immediately after work. Sandra, I can't do this anymore. I am tired. Sandra asked, so what's your plan? Kate said, maybe I'll just fake my debts and resurrect when the economy improves. Sandra laughed until tears came out. You are mad, Kate. Kate sighed dramatically. Madness is cheaper than rent, oh. That night, she sat on her bed and thought, maybe God is trying to humble me. Then she laughed. But he could have used a nicer method now. Well, by the time the salary delay reached its second week, Kate's confidence had deflated like a balloon from Children's Day. Her wig glue had expired. Her nails were lifting like roof sheets in Harmattan, and her phone screen looked like it had seen war. Yet, every morning, she would still post grateful hearts no matter what on WhatsApp, even though she was clearly fighting invisible battles. One Friday evening, she sat on her bed with her legs crossed, staring at her bank app as if it would suddenly produce miracles. 2,167 naira, she muttered. This is not even money again. It is an insult. Sandra was in the sitting room charging her phone with the only socket that still worked when she overheard Kate grumbling. She shouted loudly for her to hear. Kate, are you fasting or complaining? Kate sighed weakly. Sandra, I don't even know what it is again, oh. Sandra entered the room and folded her arms. I told you, this soft life competition will kill you. But Kate shrugged. I only wanted to look successful, Sandra. Is that a crime? Sandra sat beside her and smiled. It is not a crime, but you can't use struggle to fund packaging. Kate groaned. I think my guardian angel just went on break. I'll bounce back. Well, the next day, Sandra traveled, and that was when Kate's humiliation started coming one by one. First, her gas finished while she was cooking beans, so she carried the pot to her neighbor's kitchen tying a wrapper and bonnet. The same neighbor she once bragged to that she doesn't cook at home anymore, she only eats out. The neighbor looked at her pot and smiled. Madam Choplife, welcome to our kitchen, oh. Then her generator refused to start again. She called the repairman, but when he arrived and saw her outfit, he said, Auntie, abeg, no vex o. Na you be that same fine madam wey dey shout for this generator before? Kate muttered, yes, I am the one. The man nodded. Ah, this life no balance o. Tinubu too don touch you. When she finally got to the office on Monday, she tried to avoid Laddie, but of course, he noticed her mood. Kate, why do you look like someone who saw NEPA lights and still didn't smile? Kate sighed. Laddie, I am broke. Not just financially, emotionally too. Laddie smiled. Welcome to the club. Kate frowned. Don't mock me, please. Laddie shook his head. I am not mocking you. I am just glad that you are finally ready to live like the rest of us mortals. That evening, Laddie invited her to join him at a small outreach program organized by his church. It was about feeding underprivileged children. Kate initially wanted to refuse. She was only used to polished restaurants, not sitting under canopies in dusty compounds. But something inside her said, go. Maybe it was boredom, or maybe it was just curiosity. She followed him the next Saturday wearing a plain t-shirt and jeans she hadn't worn in months. At first, she tried to hide her discomfort, especially when they handed her a spoon to serve rice. Me? Serve food? She asked. Laddie laughed. Yes, Madam Pepperdam, you'll be fine. Soon, the children started running, barefoot and dusty but smiling like the sun. One little girl said to her, "Auntie, I like your hair." Kate smiled. "Thank you, my dear. It's old though, but it's trying." The girl giggled. "You are beautiful." And for the first time in months, Kate's heart melted in a real and genuine way. While they served food, one child accidentally bumped into her and her phone dropped straight into the jollof pot. She screamed, "My phone, Jesus!" Everyone turned. Laddie looked at her and burst into laughter. "Don't worry, Kate," he said. "Now you have jollof flavored ringtone." Kate wanted to cry, but then she started laughing also, loud and uncontrolled laughter that came from deep within her. She hadn't laughed like that in months. Later that evening, as they sat under the nearby tree resting, Laddie looked at her and said, "You know, Kate, this is the first time I have seen you laugh without trying to impress anyone." Kate smiled. "Maybe I forgot how to be normal." Laddie replied, "No, you just forgot that peace is louder than noise." Kate stared at him thoughtfully. "You really enjoy preaching, Abi?" Laddie shrugged. "Only when the sermon is working." When Kate went home that night, she didn't post anything online for the first time in a long while. She just lay on her bed, looked at her ceiling fan and smiled. Peace feels nice and it's even free. By the next month, Kate had changed more than her neighbors could believe. She started carrying her natural hair more often, wearing simple clothes and even cooking her meals instead of chasing restaurant menus like Destiny. When Sandra teased her, "Where is Madam Pepperdam?" Kate smiled and said, "She has retired. Her pension is peace." Her co-workers noticed the difference too. She no longer argued about fashion trends or borrowed money for brunch. Even Ngozi, the office gossip, asked her one day, "Kate, are you okay? You've been quiet lately." Kate smiled. "Yes, Ngozi, I realized silence doesn't need approval." Ngozi blinked. "Wow, that is deep. I hope you are not sick, oh." At lunch, Laddie joined her as usual. She now enjoyed sitting with him, sharing jokes about the company and making fun of their boss's bald head. One afternoon, he looked at her and said, "You are glowing lately." Kate smiled. "Maybe it's the beans I have been eating. I never knew poverty has skincare benefits." Laddie shook his head. "No, I mean it. You look content and happy." Kate smiled. "I think it's because I finally stopped competing." Laddie grinned. "With who?" Kate sighed. "Everybody, people online, my friends, my old self. I just want to breathe now." And then the unexpected happened. A few weeks later, the company held an internal audit and Kate's boss discovered how disciplined she had become. She had been showing up early, finishing reports and even helping her team more. So, during a staff meeting, the boss cleared his throat and said, "We are promoting Miss Kate Ediale to assistant HR manager." The room erupted with applause. Even Ngozi clapped reluctantly. Laddie leaned over and exclaimed, "Wow, so peace brings promotion too?" Kate laughed. "Apparently, yes. God is now my brand manager." That evening, she called her mother. "Mommy, I got promoted." Her mother screamed, "Ah, my daughter has repented from show off and entered glory." Kate laughed. "Mommy, please." Her mother continued, "Can you see? You don't need to impress anyone to shine. Just be yourself and let God do the packaging for you." Kate smiled. "You were right, Mommy. This peace thing is better than any designer bag." Months passed and Kate continued growing quietly. She paid off her loan app debts, stopped borrowing clothes and started saving. Her Instagram became peaceful too. There were no more fake motivational captions, just simple posts of sunsets, books and cooking experiments that sometimes went wrong. One Sunday afternoon, she was sitting at home when Laddie called. "Hey Kate, are you free?" Kate smiled. "Yes, why?" I want to take you out for ice cream, but please don't dress as if you are attending the United Nations summit. Kate laughed. Don't worry, this new me now wears slippers and jeans. Good, Laddie replied. That's my favorite combination. They met at a small cafe, laughing and sharing stories of their past disasters. When they finished eating, Laddie looked at her seriously and said, "You know, Kate, I liked you even when you were loud and dramatic. But this new version, this peaceful, funny, grounded Kate, I love her more." Kate blushed. "Be careful, Laddie, or I'll start calling you Pastor Love." Laddie grinned. "You can call me anything as long as we can start rehearsing the testimony." They both laughed, and for the first time in her adult life, Kate felt something pure without the need to impress. That night, when she got home, she opened her old notes app filled with captions she once used for Instagram. She deleted everything and then typed a new one that read, "The real soft life is not the one you post. It is the one that lets you sleep in peace and wake up without pretending." She smiled, dropped her phone, turned off the lights and slept peacefully. And that was how Madame Pepperdem officially transformed into Madame Peace of Mind, proving that sometimes rock bottom isn't punishment. It is the ground where you finally build a better life. Hi besties, thank you for watching the story. This story is dedicated to one of our besties, Kate, whose birthday is today. Let's take out a moment to wish her well. Happy birthday, Kate. May this new year bring you your choicest heart desires. Kindly share the story out with your loved ones and give the story a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you've not done so by now. Until I bring another story your way. Bye.